everyone, it's Rhonda with Ronnie Bell Designs, and today I thought it might be kind of fun to share a flip through of one of my personal little golden book junk journals. I get a lot of questions from people who see the junk journals in my shop and say, what do you do with them? And for me, it's very personal. You can do whatever you want with the junk journal. A lot of people use them as art journals. A lot of people use them as a place to document their life, whether it be like a diary, or for me, as a place to document my memories. This is my memory keeping system. This has replaced the way that I do scrapbooking right now, which is what you will see in this particular little golden book. Now, let's start and talk about the book itself. So this is very similar to the ones that you will find in my Etsy shop. I create the foundation pages for you, and from there you can do whatever you want with it. So you'll see the foundation pages and you'll see what I have added. I've added pockets, I've added flip ups, I've added flip outs, I've added all kinds of stuff, and I will share that with you. So basically you take the base journal and from there you make it whatever you want to make it. Now, I have been a scrapbooker pretty much my entire life, and I have done every single format of scrapbook there is. I have done the 12 by 12s. I think I even have a 12 by 18. I have done 6 by 8 albums. I have done pocket page albums. I have done traveler's notebooks. This is where I am at right now in my scrapbooking journey. I discovered little golden book journals about a year ago, and for the foreseeable future, this is where I see myself doing most of my scrapbooking going forward, either in a little golden book journal or some type of journal that I have created. So let's talk about this one in particular. So obviously this is a Dumbo book. I thrift pretty much all of my books. I do buy some new ones just because I can't find them in a thrift store, but for the most part, most of my books are thrifted. This particular book was thrifted, but it was new. It was a newer book, and so I did go ahead and distress the cover by using some sandpaper, and I love the vintage look that that gives it. I have created this book a little bit bigger than the ones that you will find in my Etsy shop. So I think for those, the spine is normally 2.5 inches with 3 signatures, and this one is 3 inches with 3 signatures. So I've added quite a lot to this because I knew what I was going to use it for, and I knew I had a lot that needed to be put in here. So I did make it just a little bit bigger. I've also, I bought some Dumbo fabric off of Etsy and used that for my spine. I love how cute this is. I've added my own little charm here that I made. I used little block bead letters and spelled out Walt Disney World 2022. This particular album is part of the albums that I am creating for a Disney trip that my husband and I took earlier in spring this year. I will share with you my future plans for that, but I will just start by telling you that this entire album is nothing more than our travel day, actually two of the 3 resorts that we stayed at, as well as the resorts that we visited. Now, because we were there for 2 weeks, we did quite a lot of resort hopping, and so all of those resorts are included in here. That's it. So there are no parks in here. There is no 50th anniversary celebration, none of that. I do have, okay, you guys, I do have 5 more albums to make from this trip, and they will all be little golden book style. So I will have plenty of opportunity to share with you how I create this, how I create it from the start. But again, I thought it might be kind of fun just to see a flip through. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So if you guys are familiar with little golden books, you will know that there's a spot right here on the cover where a child can write their name, sort of like this book belongs to. And if that is already, there is a child's name printed on there, I'd like to leave that. For me, that's just my personal style. I think it's very sweet to see the child's name written there. This book, because it was newer, even though it was thrifted, it did not have a child's name on it. So I went ahead and added a library card pocket to this. It does have a library card, but I'm not quite sure where it is right now. And I use the library cards as just kind of an intro to the album. So basically what you will find in this scrapbook. So basically we'll say the dates of our trip. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold, sorry. It will basically say the dates of our trip and what can be found in here. So I would put, our travel day, our resorts that we stayed at, the resorts that we visited, that kind of stuff would all be in that, on that library card. All of the books that I sell in my Etsy shop will all have the complete little golden book included in your album. or in your junk journal. The title page from the book is always the title page in the junk journals as well. The entire book is included in the book is in the junk journal as well. I don't personally do anything with them. I like to have the complete story there. I don't like to cover up any of it because usually the artwork is amazing in these books. So I don't like to cover up any of that. I won't add photos. I won't add journaling or anything like that. So that will always be, you will see the actual storybook pages in there completely intact. Okay, let's go ahead and dive on into this. So when I created this junk journal, again, I created this knowing that this was going to be for me for this specific purpose, which was to tell the stories of these particular travel days, these particular resorts. So I did make this first signature with a sheet of vellum paper, and I thought it would just be kind of nice to add a large 4x6 photo, basically as my title for this. And this is kind of indicative of what is in this album. So because this was our trip to Florida, nothing else screams Florida to me more than palm trees and magnolias. So I live in Colorado. We don't have magnolias here, but I love to go to Florida in the springtime because the magnolias are in bloom, and that is one of my favorite things. Besides the palm trees, I love to see magnolias in bloom. So those were just kind of the two title page photos for this album. Let's talk about collections that I'm using first. Okay, so I go to Disney quite often, and I have a lot of Disney scrapbooks. I scrap Disney more than anything else, and so I have a lot of the Disney collections. And I love to use Simple Stories and Echo Park and Doodlebug Designs. All of those you will see throughout my books. I like my scrapbooks to be very, very Disney. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I like to have my Disney scrapbooks be very, very Disney. So you'll see that throughout my album. You'll see all kinds of a combination of printables and of the Disney collections that I'm using. So again, I've added flip ups. As I mentioned before, this is a great way to save the real estate in your album. Rather than putting everything on a separate page, I've incorporated flip ups, I've incorporated pockets, I've incorporated things that flip out so that I can tell my story without taking up a whole lot of the pages, the actual pages in my album. So you'll see, again, flip ups, great way to document your photos, great places to hide journaling, that kind of thing. So this page, I've got a couple flip outs here. Again, more room for journaling, places to tell my story, that kind of thing. I think I will do a dedicated video at some point to all of the ephemera and junk that I collect from our travels and how I use those in an album. But you can see, like, I save everything. I save, these are boarding passes, our luggage tags. This was a napkin. All that kind of stuff is saved throughout here. All of my books as well, the ones that you'll find in my Etsy shop, are not all the same size pages because I like to have a variety. I don't like to see everything be the same. I think it adds a little bit of dimension and a little bit of texture to your albums to have things be a little bit different. So you will see that I've also added some smaller pages, and these are great for adding 4x6 photos. You can add 2 3x4 photos. You can add a 3x4 journaling card. All kinds of stuff can be added to the smaller pages. Again, here's the actual book itself. Again, another flip up because I wanted to add more photos to this page, but I didn't want to carry it over to another page, so I added a flip up. I do build envelopes into my albums as well. They're a part of each of the signatures. And this particular one, I didn't want to use as an envelope, so I just went ahead and sealed it closed, and then I just used it as an additional page in there. Again, more flip outs. This is where I've added pockets. I've actually added 2 of them. I've added this vellum pocket so that I could put our rental car agreement in here. This was our summary that we received at the end of our vacation that kind of tells, what dates we had the car, how many miles we traveled, all that kind of stuff. And then I've added another vellum pocket over here, and this one basically is the same thing, just in a smaller version. And then I added a 3x4 journaling card so that I could tell a little bit of the story about our rental car. I've added maps in here. Again, more of the book. This was a card. I just added a card here so that I could flip it up and add some journaling. Again, another flip out. This one flips open. Again, another map in here. This was the pocket that contained our resort room keys, so I just went ahead and added that in here. This is the do not disturb door hanger. I take those. I know you're probably not supposed to, but I do. This page, I've added a large page for journaling, and then got some more flip outs here. This is a flip out. This is from this is a coaster from a drink that I got when we were at Bahama Breeze. I save receipts. I've got journaling back here. This was cut out from a map that I had. We ordered pizza to the room one night, and it was probably one of the best pizzas I've ever had. So I cut out the advertising for that pizza place and added it in here. Again, more room for journaling, more pages of a map. Lots more journaling. This was about going to the Animal Kingdom Lodge and going to Boma. Now, we have stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, but we have never gone to Boma, so we went to Boma for breakfast, and I wanted to make sure that I documented that. This flips up. You can always add flip ups and flip outs so that you can maximize the amount of photos or journaling that you can add to your pages. This was another map. I've circled Disney's Animal Kingdom because we were at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, obviously. This was a letter that we received at our resort letting us know that the water was going to be turned off for a couple hours. And I kept it and I used it just because it had the Club Wyndham logo on it. Just added another page, just another part to tell the whole story. Another flip out. This one has a flip out. And then this flips up. And then I've got a pocket here. I've got an envelope that I used that I tucked in a receipt from Boma. So that's in there. And then again, another little page built in here, which is great for 2 3x4s. This was, we had moved on to the Caribbean Beach Resort, and I told the whole story of this. This was quite the story at Caribbean Beach Resort, so I wanted to make sure I told the story of that. Where we were had a great view of the Skyliner. This was at sunset, and it was so, so pretty. These are the coasters that come in your Walt Disney World Resort rooms, usually underneath the glassware that they have in the room. And I keep all of these. I think there's like 4 in there when you get there, and I take all 4, and then housekeeping replenishes them all the time, so I come home with a huge stash of these. But you can add a photo to the back. You can use that for journaling, all kinds of stuff. I've just got some more photos, some more journaling. On the book page, this flips out and this flips up. I've got pictures. This is actually from the Yacht and Beach Club. One morning we had gone over there for breakfast. This is a little pocket that I created. I just took this envelope basically and I punched the notches in there so that I could pull a receipt out of there. I wanted to do a little bit of watercoloring, so I added that to this page. Again, just telling the story of us exploring the Yacht and Beach Club resorts. And then we were at the boardwalk, and this flips up. Again, more journaling, more telling your stories. This flips out. And then the wilderness. We've got the Wilderness Lodge here. Loved the Wilderness Lodge. Again, more room for journaling. This just flips out. Just taped it on. Photos of the Wilderness Lodge. We loved it here. Absolutely loved it. We had the best time. I've created this little pocket. So again, this is a half sheet of paper in here. And what I've done is I've added a vellum pocket, and then I've taken these tags that, these must be Doodlebug design. So they have printable tags that are in their collection, and I just cut those out, and then on the back side I just added some photos and trimmed those down. This was we sat at Geyser Point one day for lunch, and the view was amazing. It was so cool. We sat out there for probably 2.5 hours just staring at the view. So same thing on the back side, exactly the same thing. Added a vellum pocket, added those tags and photos from the Wilderness Lodge. This page, I just added one photo just showing that we were at Geyser Point Bar and Grill. Again, save my receipt. There's a picture of my drink with the view behind us. And then these flip up. Again, more places to tell my story without having to take up a whole other page. Now this side we've moved on to the contemporary. So this flips out. This is a picture of the contemporary. We went to Steakhouse 71 for lunch. And then this pulls out, and this is just some journaling about our lunch at Steakhouse 71. And I've created a vellum pocket on the back of this to add my receipt in there. And then that just tucks in behind this photo. And then over here, we were leaving the Grand Floridian one night and the sunset was absolutely stunning. So I took some pictures. Now, first of all, can we just talk about how cute this little monorail is? This is Doodlebug design. I believe it's a day at the park. And I just added that to the bottom of this page that I used to journal about this sunset, and did some more journaling on the back and then pictures of the sunset. So it was so, so beautiful. And I just wanted to make sure that I included that story. And then we're talking about the Polynesian village. So we went to the Polynesian a few times during our stay here. We had ohana for breakfast on our very first full day there before we went to the Magic Kingdom. So I do love the Polynesian. We have stayed there as well. And it's so, so beautiful. So I just wanted to make sure that I documented everything, all of our photos from the Polynesian. Again, another small flip out page. And then I put a tag in this pocket with just another photo and one photo on the back, and those just slide on in there. There is a paper bag here, and then that keeps the receipt from our ohana breakfast in there. And then we had gone over there one night to see if we could get into ohana for dinner, but there wasn't any availability, so we sat at the Tambu Lounge, which is right outside of ohana, and we were able to get all of our favorite parts of the ohana meal at the lounge. So obviously I had a lapu lapu, which is this drink in a pineapple. It is my favorite drink of all time at Disney World. Very overpriced for what you get, but you get it in a pineapple. So, okay, I'm done. So we sat here and we had some drinks, and then we ordered the noodles and the pot stickers. I forget what else, but we also got the ohana bread pudding. So it was so worth it. It was so worth it to actually eat this part of the meal in the lounge, because it, first of all, saved us a fortune, and we were able to get everything that we loved. So it was a great, great compromise. This is a Mickey waffle that we had at ohana. Again, more of those coasters. I've added that as a flip out, and this time I've used it for journaling, talking about our first day at in the parks. We had this breakfast right before we headed over to Magic Kingdom, and I have this was our view from the table, and it's very, very hard to see, but there's Cinderella's castle right there. So I make sure to put that on here. This was my birthday trip as well. So at ohana, they gave me my first happy birthday button. So I put that here, and then they brought us out cupcakes. Oops, this fell out. This goes behind this little belly band here that holds the receipt and the actual paper umbrella that was in this cupcake. So that's all in there. Then we went on to the Grand Floridian. This is actually a coloring book that I used as the pages, and this one in particular was Minnie with I think she's got a lei on her and a flower in her hair, so I thought it would just be kind of perfect to put in here. So we've got photos that I took at the Grand Floridian. This little guy, I love the birds in Florida. We don't have birds like this in Colorado, so I wanted to make sure that I took a picture of that bird and added it in here. Again, just playing with some watercolor backgrounds on there. Oops. More pictures from the Grand Floridian. And then this was my quote, because yes, I am that extra. And I said, wow, it's just so grand. Yeah. And then I added just some photos here that I took, and I just paper clipped them and added them to this little pocket. Then we went over to Enchanted Rose, which is a Beauty and the Beast themed bar in the Grand Floridian. And this is our first time being there. We had gone quite a few times to Meisner's, which was there before. Didn't really love Meisner's. It was very, very dark. But now that it's Enchanted Rose, it's very, very beautiful. We stayed there actually for quite a while. Took a coaster, added that just as a flip out. Picture of the menu, and another flip out. This has a pocket for the receipt, did some journaling, and just photos of the drinks that we had, a dessert that we ordered, all kinds of stuff there. And then Old Key West Resort. This is one resort that we stayed at. Now, I know specifically this is from Kelly Bell Designs. They have very, very resort-specific printables that you can use, and that's what I used for this. So you'll see that quite a few times throughout here. It's all branded with Disney. It's very Disney-specific. And I love that about Kelly Bell Designs. So I used my Silhouette Cameo to cut this lighthouse because the lighthouse is the theme of Old Key West Resort. Again, shorter piece of paper. Love it, love it, love it. And there's the pool area. This is the lighthouse. It's in the pool area. These are all the things that I kept from a brochure that Disney sent before we even left. It basically, is like, hey, you're coming here. This is when you're staying here. This is the day that you should make your dining reservations. This is any day that you should book enchanting extras. So I kept all that because, again, it's very, very specific to our vacation. And then this flips up, and I screenshotted when our room was ready, the text message that we got. This is the coffee packet. So the rooms have a coffee maker that has the coffee in the filter already. It doesn't have the K-cups. It has, for this particular trip, I know some of the resorts have K-cups, but this one did. Particular room at Old Key West did not. So we had this paper that had the coffee with the filter inside, and I kept that, and I used that for my journaling. So I have this whole hidden journaling piece here about our stay at Old Key West. This was our first time in Old Key West, and I don't know that I would stay there again. It was nice. It's very, very, very large. It's very spread out. We were not able to walk to the main building for food, for anything, for bus service, any of that. We weren't able to walk to the front area. We would have had to drive, and to me, that's just, I don't love that. But the nice thing was that there is a boat that takes you from Old Key West to Disney Springs. So we did do that a couple times. And just more about Old Key West. It is beautiful. It is quite a beautiful resort. Some more photos. This one flips up. More talk about Old Key West. And then I've got a pressed penny that we got at Old Key West. I just glued down here. And again, one of those coasters that I kept from the room, along with a receipt from our, actually, what was this? Oh, this was just some merchandise that I bought in the little shop there. And then over here, we've got another photo of Old Key West. Have a flip down. So we've got more room there to share some more photos. All kinds of stuff. Picture of our room, picture of our door, our room number 3910, and we were on Old Turtle Pond Road. And I created a pocket with this page because I've got this tag that I pulled out. My husband didn't need an ECV for this trip, so this was the tag from that ECV rental. And then we did go to Disney Springs. So this was a photo from the boat ride back to Old Key West that I took at night of Disney Springs. This is the Characters in Flight balloon. Such a pretty, pretty place at night. This was the Characters in Flight balloon during the day. Again, more maps, more maps. I've incorporated the Disney Springs map on here. Disney Springs, this is the brochure that you can get when you're at Disney Springs. One of the first stops that we had to make at Disney Springs was to activate my pass holder. I am a pass holder because we like using the pass holder discounts. So only one of us has to have a pass for that to happen. So I got the annual pass this time. And it was kind of cool because it was the 50th anniversary themed Disney pass. And again, more photos from Disney Springs at night. And then I just documented here, again, created a vellum pocket, and I just took index cards and did all of my journaling on that, stapled them, and then those pop right in there. And then the back side, I created a belly band here. It just says Disney Springs must-dos, and I've got some tags in here that are things that we have to do every time we're at Disney Springs. So whether it's World of Disney or Earl of Sandwich or the pin trading post, all of those things are must-dos. And so these little tags just slide in and out, and I stamped them with all the things that we must do at Disney. So again, there's our book, our sweet little Dumbo. We did go to Edison for for the first time, and it will not be our last time. This was probably one of the highlights of the meals of our trip. The Edison was fantastic. I would highly suggest it. It's in Disney Springs. I kept, again, the coaster with more photos from Disney Springs, or from the Edison, sorry. More of that brochure from Disney Springs. This is another little pocket with some journaling that talks about how much we loved the Edison. There is live music at the Edison. And then this little pocket with the belly band here holds our Disney Springs map. And then that brings us to the end of the book. So there you go. There you have it. There is a flip through of how I use a little Golden Book junk journal. As I mentioned, I do have 5 more of these particular little Golden Book junk journals to do from this particular trip. I will have many, many videos coming up with process videos, sharing like a journal with me, how I actually make all of this come together. So if that interests you, please make sure that you like this video, make sure that you're subscribed, hit the bell so that you'll know when I do upload those videos. Keep an eye out on this channel also, because you will see, you will get the first sneak peek at items that are available in my Etsy shop. Again, that is always linked down below. Go check it out and make it a favorite shop. So that you can have first peeks at all of the things coming to my Etsy shop. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below and I will get back to you with an answer on those. And until the next time, I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.